Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode. I'm really excited to share this conversation with you because today we're joined by Aaron the Speaker, South Florida born and raised celebrity entertainer host, former athlete, comedian, and personality who's built a name for himself through his energy, presence, and ability to command a room. If you know Aaron, then you already know this episode comes with a lot of laughs, real moments, and plenty of jokes. We got into everything from his sports journey, navigating NIL, the steps it takes to become an entertainer, hosting in different spaces, and the real life experiences that shape who we become. We also talked about what it really takes to build your name and show authentically in rooms meant for you. So whether you're interested in entertainment, content creation, hosting, sports, or just enjoy a good conversation with some gems in it, trust me, you're not going to want to miss this one. Especially if you're looking to get into the spaces Aaron has built for himself. So if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, leave your thoughts in the comments, and enjoy today's episode. Alrighty. Well, hello, you guys. Hello, and welcome to the Life After podcast, the podcast about what comes next. I'm your host, Aaliyah Lee, and welcome to today's episode. Thank you for being here today. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Of course. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. Traffic was crazy, but it was great. And we're here now in this beautiful studio space that Jean had for us. And
100%.
You look beautiful and great, ready to go.
Thank you so
Like
much.
we're on ESPN right now.
Yes, I feel good. I'm glad you feel that way. Thank you. I appreciate
feel that way.
Yes, and big shout out to Jean. Big shout out to Hidden Studios as well in Miami. Book him for all your needs as well. I will add that in the caption as well. So let's get into today's episode a little bit. So starting off with just a little bit of how we met. So we met, I think the first time we met was at the Hard Rock event.
Yep.
Right? You were hosting the event.
Yep.
And that me and him met that day, and we got into conversation. I was working.
Was I working too that day or no?
Yeah, you were working, but not at Play.
Gotcha.
We were working. What was? Do you remember the event?
I don't know. I'm the Hard Rock celebrity entertainment host.
100%.
So anytime they have like big celebrity events, like I'm the opening act.
Always. And I saw I was actually looking at your Instagram with DJ Isaac. It looks like you guys are messing around all the time, having a good
Isaac
time.
a lot.
Yeah.
I came across Isaac. How did I come across Isaac? DJ Xander could not make an event when I was doing a Hard Rock Live for Fist of Fury, which is a boxing match. Evander Holyfield's manager, Chris Lawrence, I believe he's Evander Holyfield's manager. I've seen them together, and I think that's his story. I needed a DJ. My DJ Xander wasn't available. He recommended somebody else. I didn't like that somebody else. Then they introduced me to Isaac, and me and Isaac worked together. But Isaac worked for Carnival Cruise Lines.
Right.
And once you're an entertainer and you could work within corporate, then I have a lot of trust for you.
100%.
If you're just a club DJ, I have a lot of fear.
Yeah.
But if you can work in corporate spaces,
100%.
and Isaac is a good promoter, he's a hustler.
Definitely.
He loves to be on the mic.
Yep. And he can he knows how to articulate very, very well as well.
He loves to talk.
Yeah, he
loves to talk.
Yes, he knows when to turn it on and off as well.
DJ is cold, Miami Good Life in the building.
Yeah. But anyway, so at the event, that's when I pitched the idea. I was telling you about the podcast a little bit. So I was just curious, when I first gave you the idea of the podcast and I told you what it was about a little bit, what caught your interest?
Self-promotion.
Okay, period.
No, I'm just kidding. No.
Hey, we love that too, though. Hello.
No. As a former athlete and working in sports entertainment for over a decade, almost like I think 14 years, I like sports. I like life after sports. I got my master's degree at FAU. When I was getting my master's degree in communication and media, I focused on athletes. I literally wrote my master's dissertation on LeBron James's leaving Cleveland and coming to Miami.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Defending him.
Yep. Okay.
I would defended him. And my dissertation defended him. And I took that essay that I wrote and I turned it into a sports workshop that I then sold back to FAU while I was still a student.
I definitely want to get into that too. I have a few questions for you about that as well.
When you told me about the podcast, I said life after sports. I was like, I love talking to kids and athletes because right now is like the golden era for young athletes, and for past athletes, it's like the heyday.
With that being said as well, so let's talk about your sports experience a little bit. So what got you into sports? What is your main sport? What sports did you play a little bit?
Yeah, I was born 6'5".
Yep.
I came out of my mom's womb and gave her a piggyback ride.
Okay, all right.
And the doctor took my umbilical cord and he like wrapped it up in my little baby hands and he went, shoot it.
Okay.
yeah, my coach was there, right there. I came out, I did a 40-yard dash.
Yep.
Right out of birth.
Right out.
And they
Okay.
were like, the
Love
coach was
that.
like, we're getting a boat. Okay, we're going to the States. When you're a young kid and you're
Yes.
tall, I think I had to be 6'1", 6'2" by like 10 or 12.
Okay.
I'm 6'6", 6'7" now.
Yeah.
And when you're tall, you know you're tall. It's kind of like you have no choice. I remember that I had loved theater. I had loved Jim Carrey. I had loved like poetry. And they were like, you need to love dunking. Like,
Okay.
that's what you need to love.
Okay. So
So
it's
I
kind of
was-
forced on you, and like not forced on you in a way, but your initial love was really kind of for theater.
I love theater and
Yeah.
I loved acting, but my dad is a former athlete. He's from
Okay.
the 70s.
Okay.
And 70s basketball is like semi-pro with Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Like there was no money in
No,
it. You
right.
were like wrestling a bear in the middle of the ring.
Exactly.
But he swam for Indiana. So he's a
Okay.
Hoosier. So he's happy that they won.
Yep.
And it was just like, that was my life. It was baseball practice, soccer practice, tennis practice, volleyball practice,
Wow.
basketball practice. I remember, I don't know if you had that life, but
Mhm.
as a kid, I was changing in the car, going from one practice to the next.
100%. The AAU
And
tournaments, the traveling,
the traveling, the 2-a-days.
four
you know.
games a day, maybe 6 games a day, 100%.
So that was like my life, you know, and you go to high school and the coaches find you and you try out. I was a baseball player first. That was like my first love.
Mhm.
And I broke my wrist in practice. I had a cast on, and like an idiot, I was like, I'm going to throw a baseball with my cast,
Oh, okay.
which caused me to get like inflammation in my elbow and in my tendons. And the doctor
And this is at what age?
This was in 10th grade.
Okay.
And the doctor was like, you could either have surgery
Mhm.
or pick a different sport. Like
Okay.
baseball's done for you.
And when the doctor told you that, like, what went through your mind in that moment?
Different sport.
Okay.
the idea of getting surgery, I was like afraid.
Yeah.
I was the kid who cried when they went to take blood.
Oh,
I cried
okay.
when they did the finger prick
Okay,
thing.
so you weren't good with any of that.
I was not. I'm better now.
Okay,
But as a kid,
better. That did
better.
a
Not
little.
great.
Okay, yeah, I'm like
Better.
better. Okay, but that's better progress. That's all that matters.
I still get nervous when they go to take my blood. Like I get the butterflies.
No,
The
shut
rubber
up.
band makes me. That's the grossies. That's the ick. When they put the band on my arm, I'm
Really?
like, and they like tie it.
I've never heard somebody say that.
That's my ick. I could never be a heroin addict. I'd rather smoke crack.
That's
like,
good.
I am not.
I mean, hey, that's a good thing. That's a good way to look at it.
So sports was in my blood.
Yeah.
I switched from baseball to basketball in 10th grade. What made it easier is I'd always been super talented, never strong,
Okay.
never buff.
Just tall and lengthy.
And that's what ended up being my downfall in college was the lack of muscle and size. I wish I would have taken at least weight training a little bit more seriously as a kid, but I was a clown. I was a goofball.
Yeah.
But
Do you feel like part of that has to do as well as growing up in South Florida playing sports?
well, yeah, we're like sports capital.
Yeah. 100%.
Like we are.
Because honestly, because I'm from the North, so for me hearing you say that, I was actually very surprised because although we have sports are a lot more heightened out here, so I was actually very surprised hearing that. I would have expected it to be the opposite experience, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
No, we're the sports capital because we could play sports all year round.
Right.
The one sport I never played was football
Oh,
because I watched those guys out in the summer in August with pads and helmets
No
and
joke.
100 degrees.
No
and I was
joke.
like, what sport has AC?
yep. Where can I be inside?
Correct.
100%. Because the second I came out here and we started doing outdoor workouts in college, I wanted to pass out. I have never experienced anything like that in my life. Like it was completely different. Like completely different. We just did conditioning outdoor, and yeah, I would have, if I could have chose a different sport at that time being, I probably would have too. So
And when I played, I think it was the last era of the Bobby Knight style of like the mean coach.
okay,
You know, I think coaches now are players' coaches, and that could be because of NIL, like we could talk about later, and all these other things.
100%.
But athletes have a little bit more agency and control over their destiny, which I think is the reason why it's like the golden age of sport.
100%.
But back then, you know, the only way you really got to the next level was a coach put you in contact with another coach or a scout or something like that in that nature. And they like controlled your destiny. They would yell at you in practice. They would like scream at you, like scream so close they're spitting on you,
Yep.
and you kind of had to take it.
100%.
And now coaches now are like, you know, the the Phil Jackson, like Zen, like, how do you feel today?
Yes, the mental advocate.
Do you want to play?
Yep.
Like before it was like, you better.
You didn't have a choice before. Yeah.
Correct.
There was no
Suicide. Like it was mean. Like it was
so mean, like
so
brutal.
mean.
And that leads to burnout as well. That's exactly what happened. That had happened to me. But
so that was my, being and I kind of was good at basketball. I was like 6'6". I was athletic. I could jump. I was a white guy, but I was able to dunk and block off the backboard. And but when I played, it was like just as Carmelo and LeBron and D-Wade were entering the league. So when I was in high school, my job was to run block to block.
Okay.
And if I dared touch the ball outside of the 3-point line, if I dared, if I dared dribble the ball more than 3 times,
get out! What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Yep.
Now I would be a point guard.
100%.
At 6'6".
No, literally.
Right?
On like a KD kind of vibe.
Correct.
Yep,
I'd be expected to bring up the ball. So I kind of missed that era. I wish I would have been like a couple years later.
Do you feel like if you were playing now, would you want to step outside of the perimeter now? Or do you think you would still stay in the perimeter, like still stay in the paint?
Oh no. Let the paint be for the guys who have like a medical condition, who are like 7'2", who are like, with the ears like this. Yeah, go get down there, Guy Gantron. That's right. Feed him a steak. Those are the guys who didn't need to be in the paint.
100%.
Me, I wanted to dribble outside. I wanted to cross somebody over.
Yep.
Now when I play at the park, I murk people.
Okay. Okay, so you're still playing for fun.
Oh yeah, I still play for fun. I try to organize runs, but I look for old man runs. That's like if you're over 30, you're in. If you're under 30, you're out.
Yeah, you're out. 100%. Okay.
And when I play at the park, there's no going underneath the basket because people don't know how to play. And I got work. I can't twist my ankle.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, can do that.
And my deductible's like not good.
Yeah,
so I can't be getting surgery will bankrupt me.
Hello.
I'm moving to Canada.
Listen, adulthood, all that, I've learned a lot, and it's no joke. The bills just keep adding and adding and adding and adding.
They do.
So let's talk about your high school experience,
Yep.
and then your recruiting process a little bit, going into college.
Yeah. So I was like ranked, I think it was like really important for me. There was like a newspaper article that came out. I was ranked like 75 in the state.
Okay.
And I was like, all right.
Okay.
75,
top 100. That's still something.
And they're like, there's only 100. I'm like, top 100? No, there was more than 100. But I had a good team. I had a player named Damian Hollis who was in the Fab Five of Broward. And our district had a really good district. We were a 6A school, and 6A schools are the biggest schools. So there's like 6A, 5A, charter schools would be like a small, like a 2A, 3A.
Okay.
We were a 6A public school. So we had like 5,000 in our high school. Like we had a big high school.
Wow.
But
I probably had 1,000.
Yeah. So you
That
probably
is so crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So we were a big high school.
Yeah, for sure.
But his notoriety kind of gave us notoriety. But I had a coach who was a state champion from Ely, which is like a big school in Broward County. That's like kind of East Broward towards 95. He was our coach. It was a predominantly black team. I was like one of the white players. There was one other white player before me. He ended up going to Gainesville on an academic scholarship. And I remember when I was graduating, I told you the story on the phone that the coach was like, oh, so where are you going for your academic scholarship? I was like, nowhere. Like, I'm an idiot. Like, I'm trying to go to school for basketball. And he's like, oh, I had no idea. And I was like, I was on the team the whole year.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
So, like, walk me through that feeling, like, because I feel like a lot of people, not a lot of people, but depending on where you're from, sometimes it could be the opposite way. So, give me like how you felt a little bit, like being did you feel outnumbered?
No,
like
I felt upset that like he wasn't like fighting for me. My dad wasn't really fighting for me. We were kind of contentious at that time of my life. My parents were divorced, so me and him were not talking my senior year. I had like moved out living with my mom. So I really didn't have like a male figure who was at that time who was like defending me and trying to get me into schools and going out of their way to help me get recruited and going out of their way to contact people. So when he told me that, it was a gut punch, and I was kind of like, man, like really don't care about me. Like, he's a nice guy, and I don't think it was malicious, and I don't think it was, he was like, oh, screw this white kid. I think it was just not thinking about it, just either accidental or just not caring enough, but didn't really go out of his way to help me. And it was a crushing blow. But I ended up getting a scholarship to play at Broward College with, right here, it was like a JUCO. I had some offers to Caldwell University, which is in New Jersey, and I had visited and I was like, I don't want to go to a small Catholic school. Like that kind of scares me.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
yeah.
as a Jew, and I'm like,
And coming from living in Broward, playing in Broward your whole life,
to go into like
5,000
a
students.
small,
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'll go to Broward, I'll play a year, and then I'll transfer to another school, like a bigger school once I get that under my belt, because that's not uncommon for people to go to like JUCO. And my JUCO at Broward, we had stars.
Okay.
Like, we had stars that were just so bad academically that was their only choice.
I was going to say, yeah, okay, so it was the academics, gotcha.
So I ended up getting a scholarship there, and I played for a year where I met one of my very good friends, one of my best friends, Joseph Vesey, who ended up becoming an entertainer as well and a comedian.
Wow.
But it was a good experience, but it was like low budget, bus drives, Wendy's.
Yeah.
You know, our coach, like if I remember I would talk back a lot. Like there was a time of practice.
Okay, so you were that type of player.
Oh,
were you always that type of player? Or?
Always.
Okay.
Talking back is in my DNA. Like that's what I do best.
100%.
He was yelling at us.
He's quick with it, y'all. He is quick. Quick with it.
But
It's like, how did you even think of that?
He was yelling at us in practice one day because we had lost a couple games in a row. He's like, none of you in here ever won a championship. None of you have championship DNA. And he had us on the baseline. He's like, have you ever won a championship? No. Have you won a Fuck no. Have you ever won a championship? And I was like, in baseball. He's like, fucking baseball.
Oh, I know that I know that irritated him even more.
gears.
Oh, 100%. That irritated him even more.
My strength and conditioning coach called me Mr. Smiley because like they would be like, run suicides. And I'd be doing it with a smile the whole time.
Yeah.
And I would be in the weight room and I'd be smiling. And he called me Mr. Smiley based off the ice cream shop in New York. Like there was like an ice cream store. And so that, you know, playing JUCO was fun. And then in the year I was going to transfer, I ended up tearing my ACL and my meniscus playing at Coral Springs gym.
Wow.
And
Oh, it's just, you were just playing pickup at the gym.
I was with Brandon Knight. You know, Brandon Knight, Brandon Knight was a young kid who was a phenom. He was like a few years younger than me, playing with adults like with us. There was Kenny Boynton. Kenny Boynton would play with us. He ended up playing overseas in China. Damian Hollis, who was playing with us, and a bunch of other players. Adrian. And a football player jumped on my back, pulled me down. My foot got stuck on the court, and it went pop. A very good friend of mine, Teddy Tassi, who played at Nova, he was there, and they were like, "Get up!" And I was like, "Oh, it's done." I heard it. Like it was like
was it like? Did you know? Like I feel like some people know. Ooh,
you heard?
Yes, I'll never forget when my teammate did that right in front of our bench, and we all just heard the pop. That's
so that was defeating, and that was kind of the end for me. You know, I could have come back. I ended up I was living in Washington, D.C. with my friend Damien, who was going to school at GW.
Real quick, before you get into that, you made a point that I want to get into real quick before we get into your life after that. You had mentioned your parents at the time, your senior year, they were divorced.
Yep.
So I'm like, in my head when you said that, I'm like, oh wow, that's senior year, crunch recruiting time. Your coaches, you have a bad coach as well that you don't feel like is helping you.
Yep.
I know on my phone we had spoke about the relationship with your parents and your parents not really understanding the basketball in general, but especially the business of it.
Yep.
So talk to me about that a little bit. One, about when dealing with the divorce and, you know, being in crucial recruiting time.
It was tough dealing with, you know, having divorced parents as a young kid is never easy, especially when they don't get along and they're not amicable. I was like, 2006 is when I graduated. The internet was fresh. It was, you know, it wasn't like what it is now with your ability to kind of look things up and research yourself, which helps young athletes now so much more. And the idea of like not having someone help me, not having my dad, having that contention, not having a coach help me was really tough. And it wasn't like a motivating factor to really help me like get recruited. And I played on AAU teams. Like I was on AAU teams and no one was really going out of their way to like help me besides getting the scholarship for Broward,
100%.
which was, he saw me and he was like, you should come play for me.
And what advice would you give somebody that was in your position? Or advice to your younger self at the time being going through that exactly? What would you tell them?
Yeah, now I would say, you know, don't let anyone control your destiny. I'm big on that. And I would use Gemini, which is a Google product. I own Google stock, so please take care of the companies that I own. And look up schools. Like I pulled up some stats that I wanted, and I used Gemini. And the biggest schools are actually Division III schools. There are over 425 Division III NCAA schools, which is the largest pool of schools that there are. So for young athletes now, I would say, you know, if you're not getting recruited and you feel like you want to play the sport, playing Division III is a great option, especially when you can transfer. So many students transfer after their junior year or their sophomore year.
100%.
You have 425 schools to play from. If each team has 15, you know, you're looking at over a couple thousand options for you to be able to play. There are 310 Division schools, Division II schools. I didn't even look up Division I. So between Division III and Division II, there's over 750 schools.
Yeah.
That's a lot of opportunity.
100%.
And my advice to younger kids would be to kind of use the internet as a way to look up these schools and make that small sacrifice. If sports is what you love and you want to play sports, going to school and getting a scholarship to play sports is the best way to leave school debt-free. It's the best way to get great experience, make good friends. Statistically, they talk about your life after sports. They talk about the graduation rate. 39% of former athletes earn a master's or PhD. That's 32 for non-athletes.
Wow.
So athletes have a 7% advantage when playing a sport to going on to getting higher education, you know, degrees. So my advice to younger athletes would be, I get it, shoot for the stars, but don't forget there's also the moon.
100%.
You know, and you can play at a D3 or a D2 and have a fantastic career. And how many athletes do we hear that have played in D3 and D2 that end up going pro? And
sometimes there's NBA players that have shown that as well. So 100%.
And what I wish I would have known as a younger athlete is not everyone makes the league, but my friend Damien had a great career playing overseas.
Yep.
You know, Teddy had a great career playing overseas. Brandon Knight makes his career playing overseas. Kenny Boynton makes his career playing overseas. And if I could live in France and make $250,000 and hang out in Paris and play basketball, I would have chose that option
100%.
instead of working at Enterprise Rental Car. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
if there's an option between those two, I'd rather spend 5 or 6 years in Europe and then come back and work the rest of your life.
Yep. I think people get so stuck on the logistics and how it looks and the business of everything that it's like there's still so much opportunity and you could still be a millionaire by the time you're done playing. Just from playing overseas. And at that point too, especially overseas, you get to see so much as well. You get to experience so much life on top of, well, if you really do that, but you really don't have a choice. Exactly.
But there's South America, there's China.
100%.
What's his name?
There's so many leagues.
Stefan Marbury played in China for many, many years.
I heard they get paid great in China too.
Yeah, I wouldn't go to China, but
me neither, but yeah, that's far.
It'd be tough. It'd be hard.
That's far.
It's far.
Yeah, that's like a 2-day flight, right?
You're looking at like 26, 28 hours.
Yeah, that's crazy.
To get to China. So it'd be tough. Now, I wouldn't say I wouldn't do it if it was my only option. You know, if they were like, hey, you got to get a regular job or play basketball in China.
Right.
I'm choosing China.
100%.
I'm going to be over there, you know, learning the customs and everything.
Everything,
like that.
figuring it out.
So, you know, that would be my advice. My advice would be like, you know, shoot for the stars, but don't forget the moon's available. And don't forget the internet's available to you. And the power of having your phone to make your own highlight reels.
100%.
Using CapCut to edit your own game footage.
Right.
Is so much more available.
100%. And getting into that a little bit, NIL as well. So give me your opinion on NIL as a whole. And also, if you had NIL when you were playing, what do you think would have been different?
If I was to go back, you know, people say I'm very handsome, which I like.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I would have been really trying to figure out how to get clothing brands to cover me, like growing a social media presence. I had a Zoom call today with one of my students. I'm a college professor at FIU, and I teach communication and media studies. And I'm teaching one persuasion class online because I don't want to go into campus.
Good for you. I don't blame you.
And so I make these Zoom calls. She jumped on and she's like, I want to be a sports photographer. Okay. And I told her, she's like, can you get me in contact with the Panthers? I was like, I can, but like, you know, like, what do you think I'm just going to make a phone call and they're going to book you?
Right. Like she didn't even give you anything else to work with.
But I get it. She's shooting for the stars.
Yeah.
But I told her, I said, there are so many high schools that you can go to and shoot for high schools.
Yep.
So for NIL, if I was a high school student entering college, or if I was a college student, maybe at FIU or a Barry University or a Nova University, I would be looking for kids who want to do sports photography and find some synergy and be like, you shoot me.
Yeah.
If I get a brand deal, we'll do a 60-40 split. I'll give you, 40% of the money. I'll keep 60. And I would focus on trying to get so many brands like that want to be a part of it, like shoe companies or clothing companies. The same way a model, like Life After Sports for you, like with
100%,
modeling, like
100%.
modeling, you get so many brand deals. So with NIL, that's what I'd be shooting for. According to stats, NIL projected 1.67 billion in 2024 and 25. 1.67 B with a B billion.
Yep. B.
And
Big
that's
B.
up from, last year, which was 1.17 billion from last year. So that's a increase, and I can only see that growing more year after year.
Definitely.
And
I feel like a lot of people say like, I've heard recently a lot that people think it was just like especially when it comes to women's basketball specifically, and they have like a 2-3 year increase, and then they think that everything's just going to go right back down. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I don't see social media going anywhere. I don't see media going anywhere. In fact, I only see it increasing. I see the importance of online shopping going up, like with TikTok Shop
100%.
and being able to do that, Instagram Shop being able to do that. So I don't see it going down really, especially with e-commerce and more people doing e-commerce. So if you're an athlete and you're able to represent, there are so many companies out there that want to promote their lifestyle and wellness brands. It doesn't have to be clothing. It could be
100%.
protein powders. It could be mushroom, like that lion's mane and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It could be all these different options for you. And you really don't have to think that hard. You could literally go to Gemini, not ChatGPT, Gemini, and ask it, I'm a high school athlete. I live in Miami. My sport is swimming. What are some brands that are associated with swimming? Speedo, this one, that one.
Right.
Then you could ask it, are there any local brands? And it could be a Play Again Sports if they still exist. It could be a Dick's Sporting Goods. It could be a local gym like Legacy. Maybe Legacy wants to give you a free gym membership to promote Legacy as an athlete. The options for selling yourself are so high.
Definitely.
But I understand that not everyone has that business mentality, but that's the importance of school, is asking your classmates, like, who wants to be a sports agent?
Yep. And then finding the people.
Who wants to be a sports videographer? Who wants to be a sports photographer? Who wants to be a social media manager? I think today a lot of people forget that the network around you can become the network that grows you. Instead of trying to get these big brands, find 4 or 5 friends around you that kind of have the same lifestyle, same mentality. And maybe it only works for 3 years and then you fight and you never talk to each other again.
Right.
That's life,
Whether it's in business, relationships.
Ask all 100%. My ex-girlfriends.
Gave him hell, or were you a good boyfriend?
I gave him hell.
Oh, Lord.
In a good way.
You
can see how entrepreneurial I am now.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I push my relationships to make them entrepreneurial, and not everyone has that desire.
100%. Okay.
So I push people.
So would you say you're compatible with somebody that's an entrepreneur, like has the entrepreneur mindset as well?
I think so. I think, as I live gig to gig, show to show, check to check. Like before we got here, I'm calling the Houston Astros. I'm 100%. Calling the Washington Nationals.
This man is always working, you guys, always working.
Because no one's guaranteeing my next meal but me.
Yep.
And I have agents and I have people who are trying to get me work, but they're not waking up every day going, Aaron's got a mortgage to pay, let's cover it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been my mentality. And as a troubled kid and a kid who always got in trouble a lot, I had to learn to talk my way out of things. I spent more time with the resource officer than my own teachers.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for sports, I probably would have been expelled or kicked out of school. But there's so many times where I got kicked out and I got to go hang out in the AD, like the athletic director's office, or the coach protected me.
Right.
So that's also the benefit of sport, is like when you're an athlete in school, they do give you the resources.
And you learn so much, like even just life skills outside that you sometimes don't really notice until afterwards. That's something that I noticed big in my 20s, is like, oh, wow, sports taught me a lot of things. And meeting people that didn't play sports, there's a lot of like things that come to me naturally that don't come to people naturally.
Yeah. And sports provides that to you. And
100%.
A lot of student athletes that I had in my classes, I would be like, go to the tutors, like make them do their job. Like you literally have free tutoring.
I was always the athlete, the student that never went to the tutors.
I was also the athlete.
Yeah, never went to that one.
I was in academic probation.
Yep, same here. Same here.
Yeah,
I was a horrible.
so I get it.
I was a horrible student.
I get it.
Yep.
And I'm only saying this in hindsight,
Yes,
you know, and that's the
100%.
reason of the podcast, right?
Exactly.
For young kids. And the problem is sometimes young kids will listen to this and they still won't register, but some do. And that's why these podcasts and these conversations are so impactful, because you never know who it's going to touch.
And exactly. And also when it's going to touch them. Sometimes I feel like you might leave advice, and although they might not hear you at the time being, it might hit them, or like what you're saying to them. If that happens in real life, it's like, oh, wait, she just said this
Yep.
a few weeks ago, or, you know, sometimes
Yep.
it sits with people too later. But talking about teaching and things of that sort. So your workshops, let's get back into that. You were talking about from when you tore your ACL.
Yep.
And then moving into the person you met that got you to start to do the workshops at FAU.
No, I dropped out of school.
Okay. So that was gotcha.
I tore my ACL.
Gotcha.
I went to school. I failed class after class after class after class. I got into academic probation. I had like a 1.7 GPA, and I just kind of was like, you know what? I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to try to go walk on to another team. So I would go practice with Nova, trying to like get, you know, a spot with Nova, with Marquise, the coach over there. And those people, I would go to GW where my friend Damien was playing. And like, you know, in my belief, I was like, oh, I'm going to get a walk-on spot. That'll be my saving grace. I'll walk on and then it'll all restart again. Like the basketball will restart. And after like a year or two, it didn't restart, you know, and I had dropped out and I went to New York, and I was staying in New York with my friend Joseph for a while. And I realized that I was going nowhere with my life, and I had to make something of myself. And it was
at what point did you realize that? Because I feel like for a
all
lot
my
of
friends were graduating college.
Okay.
I was in my like 23, 24. Everyone was graduating. Everyone was going to play basketball overseas. Everyone's lives were continuing.
Yeah.
And my life had stayed stagnant.
Gotcha.
And I was depressed. I was frustrated. I was lost. You know, my whole life had been sports, and now it's not.
Yep.
And my parents were like, you got to get a job. And I was like, a job? I was like, fuck, what's a job? Like, I was like, I did referee work. You know, I'd never really had like a job.
Yeah. Or probably even thought, because we were playing sports for so long, that you'd never even thought of what you liked outside of sports.
Yep. So eventually that fear of being left behind was enough motivation that I was watching people cross the finish line and I was still at the starting, and it kicked me into gear. And
it really does just kick you in the butt one day. Like really,
hard.
I had like hard. No, because I had a very similar experience as well when I stopped, and it's just like I just woke up one day, and that's how I got the idea even of this podcast too. And I was just like, you just kind of like wake up. But I was curious if you had the same experience.
Same
too, so
experience, same depression.
Yeah, it's nice to hear.
I'm kind of like a raccoon in the sense that like if you push me in a corner, I'll fight back.
Yep.
So
I so see that about you.
I was pushed in the corner.
Yeah.
And I fought my way back. I thought I wanted to do exercise science because my dad and my stepmom are physical therapists. So I went that route. I realized at organic chemistry that not for me.
Not for you. Yep.
I changed to sociology, which was like understanding people and culture. It was kind of boring. I changed to psychology, thinking maybe I'll be like a sports psychologist. Didn't really click with me. And then I took a communication class and I was like, oh, I like this. This is like psychology, biology, chemistry, sociology, English, all mixed into one like discipline.
Okay, because in college, I did a public speaking class, but not a communications class. Those are very different.
Yeah, public speaking is like a public speaking, but communication class is like comm theory.
Gotcha.
Like how does communication work? It interests me. I liked it. I was bad at getting girls. And I had my friend Teddy, his cousin Pat was like suave, like, and they were Haitian. Yeah. And that's where I get the, you being around that Haitian culture. He has a great Haitian
accent, y'all.
And Pat taught me how to get girls and was teaching me how to be smooth. And like my friend Teddy would like take my phone and text for me, like showing me how to do it.
Yeah.
And then when I was studying communication, I felt that it was like, I was like, oh, okay, I'm learning, you know, the tools that I need to kind of communicate well. And I used it kind of like to help me get girls. Like that was like my interest. And my desire to do that kind of spread. I said, oh, getting women is kind of no different than getting business.
Yeah.
So it kind of translated well for me in terms of like learning how to talk to somebody, learning how to court somebody, learning how to be charming,
100%.
learning how to push a little bit, but also pull back and be aggressive, but not pushy, and to get what you want. And so that kind of helped. And I was an older student, so I got more involved. I had like a radio show at FAU called Off the Beak.
Oh, okay.
I had a news segment that I would do where I would walk around campus, like interviewing people for the news station. I wrote for the school newspaper.
And at this point, were you finding like joy in doing this?
I found joy.
Like outside of sports, like it was finding like your newfound joy.
I found joy in doing it. And then my ex-girl, I would take an improv class at the Hard Rock. At the Hard Rock used to have an improv where Griffin used to be, and like used to have an outside area.
Really? Oh, was that when the Hard Rock was like outdoor? I heard it used to be like
outdoor,
fully out. I was like, wow, okay.
She was like, you should become a sports arena host for FAU. We went to a basketball game and there was a guy doing it. And she's like, you should do that. It's not stand-up comedy, but you can get paid. You're on camera. You're on there. And I said, okay. I reached out to the school. They told me no. 4 months straight. Asked no, asked no, asked no, asked no. Then one day the guy left during a winter basketball, because you know they have like the winter classics.
Yep.
So they have like back-to-back women's games, back-to-back men's games.
Right.
And he left for a fraternity trip, and he was like a football player. And they were like, they called me and they were like, hey, you've been asking us over and over again. Can you come in and do it? Have you done it before?
That's the importance of putting yourself out there though, because like they remembered you. You were the first person they could call.
And I was like, of course I've done it. Never done it in my life. Of course, 1,000,000 times.
Yep.
I did it. The advertisers were happy.
Okay.
They were like, you were articulate, you were funny, you improv, you made it seem like a game. You were great with the fans. You really got the stadium going, because I was a goofball. I'm not afraid.
Yeah, is that something that you feel like, especially like the improv, is that something that has always just been really natural for you?
Yeah, like I'm not afraid to I was the guy in high school listening to Pretty Ricky.
Yep.
You know, grinding on a, well, no, me, you know, taking off my shirt in class.
Okay, yeah.
I'd
So it was
been a
always very
goofball.
natural.
I always performed.
Yeah, very natural.
And so they liked me. They hired me for the rest of the season. They were like, we'll give you an internship. I was like, you can hire my company. They're like, you have a company? I went on SunBiz, bought a business license that night for $125.
Wow, this is amazing.
Changed my dad's name from Jeff Shapiro to manager in my phone. Went into their office and said, you could talk to my manager. Put him on speakerphone, and we negotiated my first contract.
Wow.
Which was $75 a game.
Yep.
And instead of being an intern, I was still at the school, still a student, and they hired my company, Aaron the Speaker LLC, which is still my company today. And I did basketball, and then they were like, come do our new football stadium, because they just built a new football stadium with Andrea Ocampo. So she was my mentor, unknowing. She didn't know she was my mentor, but watching her, I learned from her. And I became the arena host for FAU for 9 seasons, got a championship ring. With
I know, that's right. Look at that, y'all.
With Lane Kiffin, got me a championship ring from the Boca Bowl. And basically, we had a great time. And from there, I became the NHL arena host for the Florida Panthers. Dale McLean from the Miami Heat was my mentor, because he was the only sports arena host. I got to train with the Miami Heat, you know, and I did Major League Lacrosse. I've worked for the Miami Dolphins as this past season with the Miami Dolphins. Inter Miami, the champions, I work with them.
Yep.
So, you know, it all kind of steamrolled from aggressiveness and asking and...
Wow, that's amazing. So what advice would you give somebody, because the way you can ask, right? I feel like the way you can ask comes very natural to you, but I feel like a lot of people are very scared to put themselves out there and ask those questions. What would be your advice to somebody looking in sports entertainment field in terms of like how to put yourself out there?
I would say, you know, don't discredit theater. I think taking an improv class, like even if it's a stupid improv class outside of sports, like just like an improv theater class, can kind of get you out of that shell of fear of asking, you
100%.
know, like having to pretend to drive a truck and beep, beep. And, you know, like these acting skills do translate to sales because you do have to act a little bit and put yourself out there. So I think like for anybody, I think the power of theater is underestimated, which makes me so sad when I see it getting cut from schools, recess and PE and theater and performing arts, because they are, you know, so integrated into the human experience, which is being able to put yourself out there and take a risk, there's no easier risk than an improv class.
Yeah.
Because it's low stakes.
Yep.
Like, what's the worst that happens? Embarrassment. You know, like,
And everybody's there for the same reason.
Correct.
So yeah.
So I would say an improv class is like the number one way to get out of your shell. And then the next way is to find people who are older than you.
Okay.
And whether they know it or not, view them as your mentor. Like Dale from the Miami Heat mentored me, but he was never like, hey, I'm your mentor. Like he was mean to me.
That was how you took, yeah.
You know, like he was not nice. Like
Yeah.
he was very nice to me in terms of letting me be around him. He was very nice to me in terms of like me hounding him down and stalking him and allowing him. He let me come to 30 Miami Heat games.
Wow.
And shadow him and watch him. And he never was like, let me show you, let me teach you.
Yeah.
But he let me be in the room.
I bet you probably also saw your ambition too. So it wasn't like he probably would love to do that, you know? He probably saw like also helping you out as a young kid. You had the ambition to do it. So
But he's a prickly pear.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
he's like, he likes to run a tight ship. He's the best at what he does. You know, I remember I used to dance bar mitzvahs for his company.
wow.
And I was watching him MC and I kind of got lost in the crowd and I was kind of like watching the room, seeing like, okay, how is he motivating the room? And he like sneaks up behind me and like whispers in my ear and he's like, you better start dancing right now. And I was like,
got it.
so
funny. Yeah.
he runs a tight ship, but he's been with the Heat for almost 15 seasons as Uptown Dale. And, you know, he was a UM cheerleader and he's the host of UM football and he's the host of UM basketball and he's the host of the Miami Heat. And, you know, so I think being around people who are older than you, they're never going to be like, let me help you.
Yeah.
But just them allowing you to be in the room is a help in itself.
100%. That's amazing. Okay. So some older mentors as well. That's something that a lot of advice I've gotten recently too is also not only being around older people, but also being around people that are like-minded in what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Or that it's okay to be the one that knows the least in a room. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's okay to feel like you're left out because you don't know as much. Like it's okay. That's how you learn.
And if you're around people your age, you're all fighting for the same job.
Yeah.
When you're older, you're passing the baton.
100%.
When you're with your peers, you're racing together.
Yeah.
So you can't expect someone who's your age or in your same bracket to help you. They want to squash you.
Yeah.
It's sport.
Yeah.
We are competing.
Yep.
We're friends. We're on opposite teams. We're cool off the court. The moment the whistle blows and the game starts, I'm elbowing you in the face. Like I'm here to win. So if you surround yourself with people who are your same age, who are trying to do the same thing, it's a very competitive atmosphere, which can be good to make you compete. But they're going to be trying to get the same jobs, the same work, where the older people are looking to pass the torch.
Yep. Okay. Oh, okay. So don't be afraid, you guys. Don't be afraid to
Yeah, get some old friends
in those positions.
Find
Get
those
some
old
friends,
people.
the old people, the old
Get us
folks.
some Pedialyte.
The old
You know,
folks.
get some prunes.
You know, bring them a few things. They'll be all right. They'll
get
be all
some
right.
Bengay, rub it on their knees.
So also, you have as we know, you're a host.
Yep.
So you have spoken in front of a total attendance. This is definitely updated, probably by now.
Oh, yeah.
Of 1.5 million live audience members.
Easy.
So
Easy.
like hearing that
Way
is
more.
way more. So what would you say that is around the average number now?
3.
3? Wow. Okay. So I think like you said, you're like, yeah, easy. For a lot of people, when they hear that, they're like, that many people? So I know, as you said, it comes very naturally to you, but do you have a process at all before you step in front of a huge crowd, before you're at a big arena? You know what I'm saying? Like, is there a process in your mind, mentally, physically that you do? What is your process?
I close my eyes. I try to slow my heart rate because a fast beating heart causes cortisol. So if your heart is doing this, you get a stress hormone in your body called cortisol, which causes memory loss, shaking, boys like this. So I try to slow my heart rate and slow down. I have a mantra that I created where I go like, Aaron, you are handsome. You are beautiful. You have beautiful eyes, nice hair, good skin. You have your health. You don't have cancer. You don't have diabetes.
Yeah.
You're able-bodied. You have 3 parents. Some people have no parents. You have 3 parents. You have friends. You have enemies. And I accept that everything in this universe is out of my control. Everything is out of my control. I can only control my thoughts, my beliefs, and my actions. And that's like my little self mantra prayer with like deep breathing to kind of slow myself down and remind myself And for me as an entertainer, I always remind myself that the show is not about me. It's about the people who are there. I'm here to bring joy and entertainment, and I can't mess up because I'm coming from it with a pure heart. And if I stumble over words, I make fun of it. And I go like, we're having fun.
Yeah.
We're, who's
That's
having
beautiful.
fun?
Yeah.
And I remind myself that it's not about me. It's about the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I will do anything to sacrifice myself to make the show better.
Mm-hmm.
If that means that I have to help someone outside of my scope of work, I will help somebody out of my scope of work. If that means I have to stop while running from the 400 section down to the 100 section of the now Amerant Bank Arena, which used to be BB&T,
Yeah.
and a fan says, can you stop and take a picture and talk? I will, what's your name? Jessica? And in my head, I'm like, Jessica. And the next time I see that fan, even if it's 10 games later, hey, Jessica, what's going on?
Yeah.
Wow, you remember my name.
Mm-hmm.
So I really try to make every show there's no pressure on me. I'm here for the show.
Okay.
I'm here to give a show, to be the show. And I can't mess up because I am the show.
Yeah.
Even my mess ups are entertaining.
100%. And they wouldn't even be able to tell that they're mess ups because.
Oh, sometimes they could tell.
Oh, really?
I did one for the FAU, and they were revealing Howard Schnellenberger statue. Just like statue in the stadium. Howard's there. He's old and senile at this point. He's just walking around with hearing aids.
Yeah.
So people just guiding him around. He's just waving at people. And he was old. And they're doing the statue. This girl, Corey Betts, is on the other side. She's like the game ops director. And I'm going over. I'm looking at my script. I'm like, all right, Schnellenberger. What kind of name?
Yeah,
and I'm like, Schnellenberger. They cut to me live in front of the stadium. There's the full stadium at FAU. We're playing UM. It's a huge game, right? We're playing, the whole stadium is filled.
Yeah.
I think it's like 22,000 fans. I have my IFBs in. I'm looking, the camera's right there. Hey, everybody, what's going on? We're here to unveil the statue of Howard Schnellen, the statue. And I see Corey like,
oh my gosh.
I never messed up Schnellenberger ever again. But in that moment, I was like, Howard Schnellenschnappel statue.
Just statue. That's so funny.
So,
but I bet you still made up for it in a way.
Yeah. People laughed at me, and they were like, I'd walk around the stadium, and they were like, Schnellenberger. And I was like, I'm glad I gave these people a core memory, even if it's at my expense.
100%.
It's memorable.
Something to memory about.
And I entertained them.
Yes, you did.
Even if it was not making me look good.
Yeah.
But that could be the comic and me being okay with like deprecation and, But I think it comes from a wholesome place that I truly try to remind myself that it's not about me, that it's about the show.
That's beautiful. And I want to say congratulations on all your success because that's amazing. And also keep being who you are because the intent, I feel like not a lot of people can
Doesn't
have that
help
mindset.
with dating.
Yeah.
Good for business, bad for women.
You can work on that. You can work on that. But truly, congratulations. That is very amazing. And seeing who you are such a bright light in any room you step into. So it makes a lot of sense as to why you are so successful in all of that as well. So thank you again so much for being here today.
Yep.
So a few last questions before we wrap it up.
Okay.
So in 2026, what can we expect from you? What can we see from you? Is there anything new? Tell us about it.
I'm hunting down a lot of big shows. Like I am self-flying myself to LA for the NBA All-Star Game.
Yes. Congratulations.
Paying my own flight, paying my own hotel, going $2,000 in the hole, probably
Wow.
more.
Yep.
With the hopes of connecting with someone because I've sent emails. No one's responded really. I've made contact with a couple people working in the NBA and they told me they don't know. So I'm going out there empty-handed for the pursuit of connecting because it's better to connect in person because I want to start doing some of these bigger events like the NBA All-Star Game. Daytona 500, I'm seeking that out. The big bowl games, like I'm just seeking bigger opportunities that I'm not waiting for agencies to come bring to me.
Yep.
So in 2026, I'm really pushing there to do a lot more of these bigger events for sports. And also trying to do more stand-up comedy and kind of put out a comedy special. Hopefully by the end of December, release a comedy special on my own YouTube.
That's exciting. And in person, do you do stand-up like in person as well?
Yeah, I do stand-up. I'm out here on the Miami comedy scene, doing stand-up out here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where can we find you usually, or it's kind of varies?
MiamiComedy.com, working with. He now started his own production company. Brickle has a lot, but I would follow those Instagram pages. My Instagram page, Aaron the Speaker, I post where my shows are. And, you know, really trying to build up a YouTube channel. I think if you're an entertainer and you're not doing podcasts, you're not having these kind of things, you know, it's hard for people to buy what they don't know is offered to buy.
Definitely.
You know? So, you know, following my Instagram, I post all my shows here, but I do a lot of shows in Miami and Broward, but I'll be traveling a lot more with trying to do stand-up. But releasing my special at the end of the year is probably like my biggest goal is to release this, you know, self-produced special so people can watch that, and continuing the journey of an entertainer, which is, I wrote an article yesterday that I'll be releasing on my Substack and my Medium called Just My Opinion.
Just My Opinion. When it drops,
Just My Opinion. And I called it the never ending beginning.
Wow.
Like it never feels like I'm going anywhere. Like it always feels like the year ends. I did 160 shows last year. January 1st, 2026 comes. I only have 20 events under contract. That means I have to find 140 shows. I have to find them.
Yep.
So it's like every year it's a new beginning, a new stress, a new anxiety, and I hate it and I love it.
Yeah. Good for you.
The never-ending beginning.
The never-ending beginning. That is so beautiful. I love that. Like I said, when that drops, everybody tap in for sure. Thank you again for being here today. It was such a such a great episode. Great talks with you. My last thing is just any piece of advice you have for anybody. That anybody that is watching, what would be your last piece of advice?
Find the light. I tell people all the time, I was kind of depressed this week. It's okay to be depressed. It's okay to feel darkness. It's okay to feel alone. It's okay to feel sad, but find the light. No matter what, no matter how dark the situation, find the light. Put on your favorite song and dance. Even if it's for 3 minutes, find the light for 3 minutes. Eat your favorite ice cream. Times are kind of scary right now. If you're paying attention to political situations, not to make it political, but times are always tough politically. But I think my advice would be find the light no matter what, no matter how dark it is. Find the light. Reach out to someone, call your loved ones, be around people. Don't try to isolate. And if you are isolating, find the light within that isolation, you know, stretching, yoga, watching your favorite TV show, smoking a cigarette, whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Find the light for the moment and don't let yourself be consumed by darkness.
That's beautiful. Find the light, you guys. Find the light. Well, thank you so much. My last piece of advice, actually, we went to the Tall People event, the Tall Tour. So it just reminded me as we're sitting here. So to all my tall people out there, men and women, embrace your height. Embrace your height. Stand tall. Do not slouch. It is beautiful. The older you continue to get, the people want your height eventually. So live and love your height as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. Today was an amazing episode. You guys can follow all platforms at The Life After Pod, and my Instagram is aaliyah.lee_ as well. And we are also on Spotify for those that would like to listen. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next episode.
And I want to add one more thing.
Go ahead.
Since it's tall people.
Yes.
We need to come together and we need to fight the airlines, and we need to make sure that tall men and tall women don't have to pay extra for extra legroom. We should be handicapped. Start the movement.
Start the movement. Handicap for tall people. Boom. I love that. That is so
You were amazing.
Oh, thank you. So were you. Thank you so much. That was great. How'd you feel? How do you feel?
It was amazing.
You feel good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, yay.